RYSAS will pay 90% of its debt in 2024. The growth will continue, and RYSAS is the leader of solar energy production in Turkey. Durmuş Döven had a 15-minute interview with Turkish Bloomberg. I covered RYSAS's last earnings recently, so I won't go over that, but I highly suggest you to watch it after this one. The first question was about the high net profit RYSAS had last quarter. The host wanted to know about the logistics sector in general and asked if he thought the profits would continue in the third and the fourth quarters as well. Durmuş Döven said that the profits will continue to increase because their previous investments are now paying dividends. After that, they talked about the logistics sector in general, nothing significant there, and then they talked about Turkey's exports. Döven said that the exports were down lately. Their wagons used to be booked for the next 3 months for the exports, but now that exports are down, they can do it daily. However, at the same time, the imports are increasing, and he said that RYSAS makes money from both of them. So overall, RYSAS was not impacted by the lower exports. He then talked about the automotive sector. By the way, RYSAS is the leader for carrying the automobiles in Turkey, so they have insights on that sector as well. He said that this year, the auto market in Turkey peaked with 1.2 million sales. He said that he expects that number to come down to around 850,000 range next year. And I covered Doge in my last video. By the way, definitely watch that video if you haven't yet. This sounds like a bad news for Doge Auto, but I think Doge will be the least impacted by the drop in total sales in the Turkish market, due to their customers being from higher income households. Anyway, the reporter then asked, so overall, all areas considered, you don't expect a downturn in the logistics sector, so maybe third and fourth will be even better? To that question, Durmuş Döven answered with absolutely. Because the money supply is so high, the demand is so high, so is the supply. And that all happens thanks to logistics. He then said Turkey went from 40 to 50 billion in GDP to almost $1 trillion now, so the economy is growing. And that was especially important in my opinion. Turkey's macroeconomic environment has been bad lately. But this answer shows that Döven is focused on decades rather than the latest events. The next question was about the cost of oil. In Turkey, oil is heavily taxed, so the prices move around a lot, and lately they have gone way up. Döven said that they are not affected by that at all. He said, we are not taxis or public buses. Our prices are not given by the government. He said that they used to adjust their prices monthly when the price of oil did not move that much. But now, RYSAS's prices move daily according to the price of gas. The reporter then said that RYSAS is focused on lira debts, and they don't have any foreign currency debt. By the way, they do, but it is very small. Then asked what they will do with the cash position since it looks like they will have excess cash. Döven answered that they have lots of excess cash and around 90% of their debt will be paid back in 2024. He said that they have several plots and it is much harder to find plots now. He said that their rent income for this year was around 1 billion liras, but next year he expects it to be 1.8 billion liras. And let me remind you that their market cap is at 13 billion liras. He then said that 92% of their tenants are multinational companies. He also said that nobody wants to change their warehouses, because there is not enough warehouse space to go around, especially if you want to move 80,000 square meters. The move alone will take a year, and then you will need to work on the new warehouse to meet your demands, like building shelves and so on. He then said that some of the old contracts became too cheap, and they have the right to revise them after 5 years. He said that if the old contract was like $3 per square meter and the market price is currently at $12, they are finding the middle ground at $5 to $6 with their old tenants. My understanding is that the tenants are renewing their current rent in the hope of continuing their business with RYSAS once their contract is over. Otherwise, I don't see the point of voluntarily increasing the current rent. Döven then said that RYSAS GEO is now one of the biggest companies in Turkey. It made it to some indexes, their margins are good, the management is good, they almost have no expenses due to the nature of that business, and as the price of land increases, the prices of the warehouses increase as well. He said that the plot they bought at $200 is now at $700, and the warehouse they built for $300 now costs $500 to $600 to build. Then the reporter asked if he expects the price increases to continue on a dollar basis. Döven answered absolutely, because the warehouses have no substitute. You can find an alternative for hotels and offices and so on, but you cannot find an alternate for the warehouses. He then said that as the cities expand, their current warehouses are now much closer to cities, and that helps them with the valuations. And finally, RYSAS is also the leader in solar panels in Turkey. They are the highest electricity producer in Turkey from solar energy. They were the first to act on solar panels in Turkey 14 years ago. I mean, that shows some vision. Finally, the reporter asked what they will do with the excess cash. Will they build more warehouses or will they invest at something else? Döven said that they will definitely be building more warehouses. He said that they will be building them close to Istanbul, around Adapazarı, Yalova, Tekirdağ. They have plots there and still searching for new ones. Right now, RYSAS is the biggest warehouse owner in Turkey, and they are the 8th in Europe. The demand allows them to grow at these high rates. So that was it for today's video. And here is the last video where I covered RYSAS's last earnings. Take care. Bye.